Lee doesn't know what pre-moves are. Did you know that I met George Washington when I was a boy?
Money's tight, but I'm taking control.
Taking the lead on my mortgage renewal.
Time to plan for the future.
Life's expensive, but there is help.
Get tools to make the most of your money at canada.ca/it pays to know.
Exit the building.
LLM is an all-in-one platform to use the best AI models out there. You can seamlessly...
Lee, I don't think you're that old, bro. What? Wasn't George Washington alive in like the 17 and 1800s? Like what are, huh? Okay, I don't know. They're making these bots seem like ridiculously old. That's not a good move. The reason is that Mr. Lee weakened his dark squares. Just kidding, I'm not that old. Get ready. There was a follow-up. Oh my goodness, Lee pranked me. I thought I was playing like a geriatric old man. All right, get ready to lose. What are you up to? Oh? Retreat. You went forward, Lee. There we go. That's a retreat. Luis Prima is a great song or two I think you'd really like. I don't know what that is, old man. I don't know what that is. You can tune a piano, you can't tune a fish. But those are dad jokes, you know, not granddad jokes. Anyway, now that the crop looks a little bit better, I think it's time to destroy you. I need to get to the Martin bot. Okay, I'm gonna play E5. Here's a whopper for you. Like King Edward the... I don't know what Lee wants. Lee won't stop talking to me. Yes. I'm gonna put the queen on H6. I castled on the opposite side. And now I'm gonna play H4, H5, and activate my rook. Hey, who taught you how to play Gotham Chess, Lee? You should check him out. He's quite good. Good YouTuber. And now we have the two pieces over here. The queen is in. I'll take that little guy. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go here, and when Lee takes me, I'm gonna take his queen. Nope, didn't work. Check. What's he gonna do? That's the best move. All right, I should stop messing around. No, I didn't see your plan, Lee. Ooh, good move. I don't know what that does. I'm gonna sacrifice my pawn to open up the F file over here. Lee did not take, so now I'm just gonna march him down and put him in a nursing home. That hangs a rook. This probably hangs the game. What is La? Like, I don't... Oh no, my rook. Oh, he didn't get checkmated. Well done. Look at the old man. I'm gonna sacrifice my bishop. And then I'm gonna bring my rook. And then I'm gonna bring my knight. And Mr. Lee, unfortunately, that's a free queen. And then I'm just gonna promote. That's... to a rook. Checkmate. Well, I underestimate. Yeah, you're 500, Lee. All right. I mean, you were always gonna lose. Really. I don't know. Really. Okay. In the future, everyone will play chess through VR goggles, right?
Make your browser fast. Make your browser safe. Make your browser Chrome.
Horror movies are supposed to scare you, not kill you. But some film sets became more dangerous than the monsters that we see on screen. And the people responsible for these deaths walked away counting fat stacks of cash while families had to bury their loved ones. Brandon Lee was 28 and finally about to make it big. You know how it is. He's been grinding for years, trying to step out of his dad's shadow, and The Crow was supposed to be his breakout role. the movie that would make everyone forget he was just Bruce Lee's kid and see him as his own guy. So there he is on March 31st, 1993, filming what's basically the last scene he really needed to shoot. The movie's almost done. Everyone's probably thinking about the rap party, and Lee's doing this scene where his character gets shot by some thugs. Pretty standard stuff for a horror movie, right? Well, here's where things get stupid. The prop department had been using this .44 Magnum earlier in the day for close-up shots. You know those shots where they want you to see the bullets in the gun? It's one of those. So they made fake bullets by taking real ones and pulling out the gunpowder. Sounds smart enough, except they left the primer in there. Primers can still make things go boom. Nobody bothered to check the barrel before they loaded it with blanks for Lee's scene. So when Michael Macy pulls that trigger, thinking he's just firing blanks like they've done 100 times before, there's actually a real bullet fragment sitting in there waiting to get launched. Lee gets hit in the stomach, and 6 hours of surgery later, he's dead. The whole crew is standing around trying to figure out what the hell just happened, and the answer is pretty damn simple. Somebody didn't do their job properly. The really messed up part? They had 8 days left to film. 8 days. Lee was basically done with the movie, and this happens. Ultimately, this can come down to human negligence, and that is horrible. But one director actually planned his killings. John Landis had a problem. He was making this Twilight Zone movie, and his segment had this racist character who needed to learn a lesson about prejudice. So Landis figures, what better way to redeem this guy than have him save some Vietnamese kids from American soldiers? Real subtle. But there's this tiny issue. It's 2:20 in the morning, and California has these annoying laws about kids not working past midnight around explosives and helicopters. Most people would think, okay, maybe we should wait until daytime or use adult doubles. Not Landis. He just decides to break the law instead. So he hires 7-year-old Micah Din Lee and 6-year-old Renee Shin Ji-jen off the books. Cash under the table, no permits, no safety supervisors watching out for them. Just 2 little kids who probably thought they were going to be the next biggest movie stars. The scene's pretty straightforward. Vic Morrow carries both kids across this shallow river while a helicopter hovers overhead and pyrotechnics go off all around them. You know, totally normal stuff to do with children at 2 in the morning. Everything that could go wrong does. The pilot can't see through all the smoke and fire, the helicopter's flying way too low, and then somebody triggers the wrong explosive at exactly the wrong moment. The blast hits the helicopter's tail rotor, the whole thing spins out of control and crashes right on top of all 3 of them. Mora and little Micah get decapitated. Renee gets crushed. The cameras keep rolling because nobody thought to yell cut when people started dying. Landis later got charged with manslaughter, but his lawyers managed to get him off. The families get some money, Hollywood promises to do better, and somehow we're supposed to pretend this was just an unfortunate accident that nobody could have saw coming. Guys, he's a rich director. It's okay if he kills 2 children. We'll give him another chance. Or maybe 3 more. Moving on, look, if you're gonna hire a stunt double, you probably want to listen when they start asking nervous questions. Sanja Davis was 32 and been doing stunts for years, and she knew when something felt off. Too bad nobody else seemed to care. This is 1994. They're filming this Eddie Murphy vampire movie that nobody remembers, and Davis is doubling for Angela Bassett. The stunt's pretty straightforward. Fall backwards off a building, land on an airbag 42 feet below. Davis had done plenty of falls before, but something about this one was bugging her. Her mom was actually on set that day watching, which makes what happens next even worse. Davis keeps looking down at the airbag, asking the crew if everything's set up right. She even calls down, "Are you sure?" right before she jumps. Hey, if any rich billionaire movie set professionals watching my videos right now, when a professional stunt person is double checking your crew's work, that's probably not the time to get annoyed and tell them to just do the jump already. But here's what nobody bothered to mention. The airbag was overinflated. Instead of absorbing the impact, it acted more like a trampoline. So Davis hit the bag, bounces right off of it and slams into the side of the building and then falls to the concrete concrete below. She lands in a coma and stays there for 13 days before dying. Her mom had the unfortunate opportunity of watching the whole thing happen, just sitting there thinking she was going to see a daughter do this cool stunt for a movie, and instead she watches her die. The family then sues Paramount and Eddie Murphy's production company for $10 million. They end up settling, but you know what doesn't bring Sanja Davis back? Money.
Stars! Bang, bang! It's a new era of the game we love. That's hockey, baby! This game's...
You know what might have saved her? Listening when she asked if they were sure about what they were doing. That poor event resulted in the death of one person. But some movies kill entire crews in a single day. So you'd think by 2016, we'd have figured out how to not kill people making movies. Well, you're actually dumb because you're wrong. Resident Evil, the final chapter, managed to seriously injure one person and kill another just because someone thought saving a few bucks was worth more than human lives. Spoiler alert, you're gonna notice a trend by the end of the video. It all involves lack of money. Not because they didn't have it, but because they didn't want to spend it. First up is Olivia Jackson. She's doing this motorcycle stunt, riding straight towards a camera rig at full speed. The timing's supposed to be perfect. Camera boom lifts up, she rides underneath, everybody goes home happy. Except the boom doesn't lift in time, and Jackson hits it going full throttle. She gets her face ripped off, her arm's so messed up they have to cut it off, arteries torn out, and bones shattered everywhere. But hey, she lives, so I guess that counts as a win in Hollywood math. Jackson ends up suing and actually wins, which is nice, but she still lost her arm, making a zombie movie nobody gave a about. But wait, there's more. A few weeks later, they're filming the scene with a military truck on a rotating platform. Ricardo Cornelius is operating the whole thing from inside a safety cage, doing his job, probably thinking about what he's gonna have for dinner later that night. Then the truck slides off the platform and crushes him to death. Just crushes him. 34 years old, working on some forgettable horror action movie, and he gets killed because someone couldn't be bothered to secure a vehicle properly. Some famous person tied to the movie posts this heartfelt thing on social media about how sad it all is. The studio promises to do better, and we all pretend this was just another unfortunate accident. Meanwhile, Jackson's learning to live with one arm, and Cornelius' family is planning a funeral. But hey, at least we got Resident Evil, the final chapter, out of it. Totally worth it. And that movie did so well, right? Because they definitely didn't try to reboot the entire film franchise with a Netflix series a couple of years later. Back in 1972, movie safety was more of a suggestion than a rule, especially when you're filming in South Africa with actual lines, because apparently someone thought that sounded reasonable. The last line was supposed to be this big adventure movie about hunting, and they figured the best way to make it authentic was just to throw real lions into the mix. No tranquilizer guns on standby, no safety barriers, just some lions and a film crew hoping for the best. James Chapman was the sound guy. 30-something, probably thought he had a pretty safe job recording audio. Lions don't really care about microphone placement, right? Wrong. Chapman's doing his thing, holding his boom mic, staying out of the way while the handlers work with one of the lions. Everything seems fine until it's not. The lion just decides it's done being cooperative and goes straight for Chapman. Now, when a 400-pound killing machine decides that you're lunch, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Chapman gets mauled to death right there on set while everyone watches. There's no rescue, there's no last-minute save, just a wild animal doing what wild animals do when they're surrounded by strangers and camera equipment. The crew stands around afterward trying to figure out what went wrong. And the answer's pretty obvious. They brought a lion to work. That's what went wrong. Lions are not actors. They're predators with teeth and claws and absolutely zero interest in your creative vision. But hey, at least we got some authentic footage out of it, right? Nothing says realistic hunting movie like actual death on camera. Chapman's family probably found that really comforting when they were planning his funeral. Even worse, I think, though, is that some productions made people suffer just for marketing. Sometimes Hollywood does something so disgusting, you wonder how these people sleep at night. The movie Shark, originally called Kane, managed to kill a stunt performer and then used his death to sell tickets. And I mean that literally. That's literally what they did. Jose Marco was doing this underwater stunt scene with what everyone thought was a drugged shark. If you didn't know, sharks don't really follow directions, but the crew figured they had everything under control. Well, they were wrong about that too. The shark wasn't as sedated as they thought. It attacks Marco underwater while the cameras are rolling, the guy gets bitten, dies from his injuries, and everyone on set realizes they just watched someone get killed by a shark for a B-movie that, again, nobody remembers. That's another theme you're gonna find in this video. Normal people might think, well, that's tragic. Let's honor this man's memory and maybe not exploit his death. Well,